Okay, this is the first video here. I'm going to show you the, the great functionality of what content management software can do for your website. Right now we're on the home page, and as you can see that the home is highlighted. Now in order to add news items, first we're going to click on news, click on the news menu. We can see that there's one item added by myself. We're going to scroll down to the end of the page, end of the web page, and there's an admin login form. So what we're going to do is I'm going to type in an address, and then I'm going to type in the password. The address and the password are associated with a user. Both Norma and John and myself are users. And I'm going to get that password working again. Sometimes it's not good to talk and type passwords in. After I have that in, I can have an option here to remember me. So next time I'm on, to remember me, or I can log in. I'm just going to log in today. And you may ask yourself, okay, I'm back to the same page. How do I know if I'm logged in? There's two items you'll see. One is that you'll notice that there is an admin menu now that appears in the upper left here. As well, there is also edit article button that appears. So for the purposes of this tutorial, if I wanted to add a new news release, simply if I look under the admin menu, I have your profile as well as submit news release. So we're just going to click on submit news release. And here's where we're giving the option here of putting the article. So I'm just going to test this out. We can see title, and anything that is marked with a red asterisk is required. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go test. So we can see, I'm just going to type in alias, which you can type it whatever you like. So I'm going to say, actually, we're going to call it the alias test 3, just to see if that shows up anywhere else. Now we can scroll down a little here. This is where the content of our press release will appear. I'm just going to say this is a wonderful day to change the world, period. Now I just want to draw your attention to just a couple of these menu items down here. Let's say we're writing a press release and it's 200 to 300 to 400 words. The best way to do that would be to have an intro paragraph and then have a read more text. So what we're going to do is pretend that this is a wonderful day to change the world. It's an introductory paragraph. I'm going to enter, which brings it down. I'm going to click in a read more. What read more is going to do, it's essentially going to tell the web browser that only show the top portion of the information on the site. And when the user clicks read more, they will have a full news release to read. This is extremely useful as whenever we're having, all of the news items will be displayed like a blog. And so in order to have the full functionality of the site, a user's not going to want to scroll down all of the articles. They may just want to find the one that they're interested in. So by adding the read more, it allows the better experience for the user. So I'm just going to add the second paragraph. This is the second paragraph, just for illustration purposes, so you'll be able to see what happens whenever we do save it. There's just I guess here's another menu item here, just article. This is a nice little feature because it allows me on one click to actually see the previous articles that have been submitted. So I can see that these articles have been submitted as such, and then the image is also a nice. So if I want to add an image somewhere in my news item, which could easily be done, I just have to click the image icon. It pops up to this page here, which I can easily choose to these photos here. They're edited to fit the web page. They're the ones that are already used in the web page. We'll just go back up again. Easy to navigate. But let's say I did want to select this image here. I would simply need to insert it. It's always good to give your item, your image a description. So we're just going to call it Now when you're labeling images, it's always best to give the label, the name, a really descriptive name, so all search engines will pick up on the name as well. So the more references to the name will help you in your search engine ranking. So calling it Scales Pond, anything that's close to what you need it to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to insert it in a second. I just want to show you that we can also browse items from our own computer and upload. The only concern over this would be that you would want to ensure that the size of the image is no longer than 500 pixels. And if you don't know what 500 pixels are, you could either search on Google or you could just send me an email and I can help you figure that one out. But we're just going to insert this image right now, just to show you. So as you can see, it easily appears here, and you might say, this is an awful small window for me actually to see. So you can drag this down, which is a really nice flexible functionality in the site that we can drag that down and see. Now, of course, you're going to say, okay, you've seen some things change here. You can see here's the image. You can also see that there was an article link that whenever I clicked on Donate Today, I had that. You can see that it's appearing in the first paragraph as well as the picture. So again, being mindful of the fact we want the content to load quickly on the first page, on the blog page, is that we're going to move this, so it's simply a click and a Control X, and we can just move that picture with a Control V down here. Control X and Control V are very easy tools to use. Control X simply cuts what you've highlighted. Highlight Donate Today, click Control V together and hold them down. It cuts it, and then we're going to put the Donate Today. Control V to put that link down there. So this is again just a really short example, illustration just to show. Now let's say that's our content. We have our content designed. Now we need to design the publishing. The category is again required. We can see here that it's going automatically to news. This is exactly where we want to do it. We could, if the author wants to so be a ghostwriter, we could give the author another name for display. The status is extremely important because if it's not set to published, it won't publish to the site. We have unpublished, archived, and trashed. Right now we're just going to focus on published. Featured, we want to make sure to have featured no. The reason for this is that if we click yes, it's going to pull it to the first page of the site. And right now our first page of the site is not designed to illustrate the news items. So if we did override this by clicking yes, would override that, and it would put this news item on the top of the page, and it would put our introductory to our site, what we're about, down on the page, which we don't want. We want users to know exactly what we're all about. And other options here, let's say you're having a press release on Monday, but you want to write the story on Friday. You write the story on Friday. You can select an optional date here when you want the article to actually appear online. So you can have your press release Monday, 9:00 a.m. You can have the website designed to actually make that appear on Monday at 10 o'clock. So you just change these settings here to 10 o'clock. And so it will automatically appear at 10 o'clock. As you can see, you can also, if you wanted to finish publishing an article, which I don't have much of a use for at some points, but let's say there was some type of contest you wanted to held, and you only wanted that particular page up for a certain period of time, that functionality would help you out there. But what we're going to do for the sake of this exercise, we're going to delete Start Publishing because I want to show you the results immediately after this tutorial. The next field here is access level. You just leave that so it's public. You can see there's others here. Registered. Registered simply means that you need to be a user to see it. So if the three of us were, say, collaborating on a news article, we'd leave this as registered, so whenever we log in, we can see it, as opposed to when the general public logs in, that they'd be able to see it. You can leave languages to all, or change it to English. It doesn't, it's only the default language is English anyway, so it doesn't really matter. These are some advanced optional items here. What I will say though, if you put meta tag information in or keywords, this will increase the relevancy. So if someone goes into Google and they type in a search engine, some keywords, and if you have these keywords listed here, keywords would be listed. So if you're looking at, you could list in Scales Pond, written as such, Dunk River. You could say restoration. You could put restore. You could type in community. With keywords, you want to repeat. So if you repeat Scales Pond twice, that would be appropriate. But you certainly wouldn't want to repeat it any more than that. You may try variations. So putting Scales, putting Pond would be much more friendly for search engines. They wouldn't consider it as spam, trying to spam the search engines. So we're just going to leave that there. And meta description, basically it's describing what the news article is about. So in our case, it's a very short article. So, and it's basically describing what a wonderful day it is today. So, wonderful day at Scales Pond. What you notice is that these items, these metadata, meta tags, they won't show up on the web page. You won't actually see them. They're more or less they're the language for the robots that are scrolling the web. So they certainly are useful. So this is essentially it. So I'm just going to quickly review. So what's needed. So we need the title tag that has to be there. The aliases definitely it doesn't have to be there, but if you're looking at for search engines, so if we type in the test3 will show up in our address tag, which we can look at later. So it again put this in to reflect what your article is about, but it just would be a one word, whereas your article title could be 3 or 4 words, but your aliases will only be one word. Again, here's the content, comes here. We can, as we've illustrated, you can add links. Another option here is to add pictures. You can insert an image here. You can have numbered lists, or say bullet lists. You can even bold, italic, and underline. There's involved centering properties as well. We need news click, that has to be clicked. We need published, and featured is no. All these other settings you can leave as the same. Empty, finish is empty, access will already be set to public. The ordering, sorry, I didn't touch on the ordering, but basically the ordering, the newest articles will be placed on top of the page, so nothing to change there. And you can add meta tag in those keywords if you like. So what we're going to do now is basically just save. I'm going to save the page. So we can see that save the page, the article successfully submitted. Now it does take you to the front page, and so we simply need to click on the news items. It doesn't always take you to the front page. Maybe I was on the home page originally, but if we look here, we can see the news item. Yes, it's the newest is before the oldest, and we can see okay, it's written by. We logged in with Norma's account, so it's written by Norma, and she says this is a wonderful day to change the world. We don't see our second paragraph, we don't see our link, we don't see our image. And that's exactly what we don't want to see, because we want an easily scrollable news release item page that users can easily see by title if this might be something to be interested in reading. Because if you have, again, if you have a 400 to 500 press release highlighting your first item, if that does not create the interest in the user will simply not look at any more items. So in this case, it's simply, again, I'm interested in this. It certainly is a wonderful day, so let's have a look at it. I want to read more. If you can see, read more test and test. Okay, so whatever your title of your article is, it's going to appear here. So read more test. I'm going to read more about tests. I'm quite interested in taking tests after all. And so we can look here. Okay, this is great. Look what I see here. I see that the second paragraph appears, the image, and the link. That's just great. Now I'm going to also show you what happens when we click the test. Because right now, the alias that we created, I'm just going to bring the page down a wee little bit. Sorry for the roller coaster here. But we can see now that test 3, this would be the, the aliases where it's used. It certainly is really functional because if otherwise it becomes into a text that people may not be able to understand. So your aliases could easy to pull up the information to find. So you can see here's where we have. And so let's say, okay, I'm not comfortable with that. I want to change it. I found a spelling mistake. You may say, okay, this is not good. It's already out in the public. It's true. Right now it's online. So you want to quickly, if you find it, edit the article. So you can go back in again and edit the article. So if you want to change anything, if you want to add another paragraph, this is not really a third paragraph. And of course, it's not really a third paragraph because it's in the second paragraph. So we're just going to, again, go save. Okay, and as you can see now, it pops back to the news item, which is great. You can see, and you see your added text. Okay, now let's say you've added an item or something is on the site. You say, I just don't want it there anymore. Again, you have full control over the content of the site. So we can go here and edit the article again. And we simply scroll down, and if you recall the status of the article, we have it published. Our other items are unpublished. Unpublished basically means it doesn't throw the article in the trash. It just unpublished it, so it's not viewable by the public. But we are able to go on the back end and find the article. Now, for us, because I know we're not going to use this article again, we're going to trash it. Okay. Now, when we trash it, we're just going to back up and save it. Now, what do you think if we trash it? What would happen? Are we going to be able to see the article online, or are we not? Because it was just online before we changed the status. Let's just have a test and see. We're going to save it as a trashed item. Article successfully saved. Okay, so let's see what we have. We do see it, so let's see. Let's go back to our news. We either can go here to news up top, or what these are called breadcrumbs, which takes us. So we can go here and go news, and let's see. Oh, news is not there. We don't have our test, so we have successfully deleted it. So that's great news. So now, no pun intended, I guess. So, and equally, so we've understood now how to add a news item, how to edit a news item, how to delete a news item. The same theory holds true for any page. So if we went to the home page, oh, our computer's just a little slow right now. So if we went into our home page, what you're going to be able to see. So if we went to our home page, what you're able to see is that, again, we have the option to edit. You can see right here. So here's the option that we have to edit the page. And right now my video software is running a little bit on my computer here, so you can see that also I have my circle that my computer is thinking. So I'm not going to be able to take you through the tutorial of how to edit, but again, we've already seen how to edit. But needless to say, you can click on these items here, and this will give you full functionality on how to edit any content that you see on the site. There may be some content, however, that may be categorized into a category and not an article. You won't be able to change the category from the front end. That's more of a safety mechanism that's built in, so we don't want any major changes to the categories at the front end. We want that done at the back end. And our next tutorial, I'll show you the major, probably the only reason why you'll need to go on the back end.